Thank you so much for that information and for your passionate words. At this time, I would like to yield 4 minutes to the Congresswoman of Wisconsin, of Milwaukee, who is an advocate for people throughout this country, not just Wisconsin, who is a poet, along with being a great Congresswoman, Congresswoman Gwen Moore.
And thank you so very, very much, gentlelady from the Virgin Islands. I rise today to speak with you, Mr. Speaker, because we have gotten so many complaints about the messaging that Democrats have around this bill. And I just want to keep the main thing the main thing. And I just want to talk to you, Mr. Speaker, very directly. People tend to, we've talked a lot about the 22, 23 million people who will lose their health care if we were to repeal and replace so-called Obamacare. But this goes deeper than this. This undermines the Medicaid program that would be 52 years old on July 30th if it survives. This takes away the eligibility, changes eligibility standards. And right now, Mr. Speaker, there's 70 million people who rely upon Medicaid. And let me tell you, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow it could be you. The average age of a member of the House of Representatives is 57. The average age of a senator is 61. So, I mean, Mr. Speaker, you're one stroke away, one heart attack away from becoming disabled, and after they wipe out your IRA and your pension and your Social Security so that they can care for you, long-term care, or allow you to stay home, you too, Mr. Speaker, could end up relying on Medicaid to have a decent end-of-life experience or to be able to stay at your home. You're one kidney failure away, one car accident away. Even though you make $179,000 a year, you don't have enough money, Mr. Speaker, were you to have a disabled child that would need extensive care. You would depend on the Medicaid program. You know, so many people don't care about what's going on here because they think it couldn't happen to them. That those 70 million people who rely on Medicaid is someone other than them. But no, Mr. Speaker, it's you. And even if you don't, God willing, have a stroke or a heart attack, you're someone who's going to suffer from the cost shifting. So that when 22 million people lose their health care, your premiums are going to go up. Your deductibles are going to go up. And God forbid that you'd have arthritis or some other pre-existing condition, because under this bill, you'll be left at the tender mercies of our insurance companies, where they can charge 5 times as much for someone who's aged or has a pre-existing condition. Hospitals in your nice suburban rural area may find themselves being shut down because they don't get Medicaid payments. Community health centers, not just Planned Parenthood, Mr. Speaker, that you're ideologically opposed to, but those community health centers that serve rural communities. And how cruel could a bill be where 50% of the children born in this country rely on Medicaid? How cruel could a bill be when 7 million people with disabilities, represented, you know, by those folks who were tossed out of here in their wheelchairs the other day? And we will find that after we end the entitlement to Medicaid, we will have disabled people and children and people who need skilled nursing care fighting with each other because they will have to win the lottery in order to be able to access the crumbs that fall from the master's table of the states in which they live. Mr. Speaker, this bill will have an impact on you. It is not just poor people. It is everybody. And I would urge Ms. Gentlelady from the Virgin Islands for us to be mindful of the fact that all Americans, every American relies on decent, good health care. And this is the largest health care program in our country that is about to be dismantled. And I would urge caution and tell everyone, especially you, Mr. Speaker, to beware.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I inquire as to how much time I have remaining?
The gentlewoman has 25 minutes remaining.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. At this time, it is with enormous, not just gratitude, but great pride, actually, to yield 5 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, as much time as she may consume